Good morning, y'all. How's everybody doing? This is Reverend Farias. I am a Reverend of Metaphysics. And this morning I'm in the park with my two little ones here, the two dogs. Teti, stay over here. Sorry. Those little ones down there. Yes, so this will be my first session, which I have postponed forever almost, it feels. And, not much of an excuse, but, I do work as an electrician during the day, and for the most part, it's really took a toll on my energy. So, when I get home, I don't feel energized to do anything really. Uh, So I usually knock out and wake up and do the little few things that I can at that time. Anyways, why am I doing this? Because I have to get this podcast started somehow, right? I had posted a video because I also want to do videos. You get me with a message, so it's not always about you listening to somebody, but just watching a video. And so that could help improve your day, provide you the insight to manage your current challenges and obstacles. So so this will be the first of many to come, I hope, if everything goes well. I must admit, no, I'm in a bit of a predicament myself, yet I'm not destroyed yet by it. Life has its ups and downs, y'all, and why I'm so fascinated with metaphysics, why I became a reverend of metaphysics is more than just the title, but the title was necessary in a sense to promote what I do. For a long time as a child, is where it started. I began to analyze life, trying to get a grasp and understanding of what it consists of, what was the purpose, what was the point of life. And that drove me to seek out something. I didn't know because I was young at the time, very young. I think I started really on this mission at about 13, or actually no, it was sooner. But yeah, 13 sounds about right, is where the mission began as far as trying to understand. Before then, there was a lot of unfortunate events, not too many, but some that were very impactful. But before then, growing up, I was in a very analytical state of mind, analyzing, paying attention, connecting dots somewhat, trying to understand who I was, even as a child, trying to understand God, because it was a mystery to me. As although I see people go to church, although my mom was a faithful person, spiritual person, there was still a lack of understanding for me. I didn't want to for me, it wasn't enough just to rely, just to accept it, just to, hey, if there's a God, well, what's God? Why did God create us? And with that being said, I want to ask the question, or propose the question: what is the meaning of life? And you may have your own answer, which is great, perfect, but some may not. I think a lot of us grow up asking ourselves that question: what is the meaning of life? And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people really find that answer. But after everything I've discovered, because I have discovered some very fascinating things about life, and that's part of why I'm doing this video, because I want to help individuals answer that question. For starters, answer that question, but even more so, I wound up developing a system, a system of self-development, believe it or not, consisting of 6 pillars to help you develop and discover who you are and where you're going. It's unfortunate because what's unfortunate is that in this world, it consists of both of many forces, right? But they're between light and darkness. Some of y'all may not have accepted this or understand this much, but the world's at war. Not the world itself, but the energies involved inside. There's a war between light and dark. So the question, there's always something you should keep in mind. What side are you on? Because your actions, your words, your thoughts matter every second, every moment of the day. They mean something, and they're recorded, and they have an impact on Earth, on the consciousness of Earth, on the reality in which we exist in. And so it gets very interesting. It gets very interesting, I kid you not, when you dive deep into understanding the spiritual aspects of our existence, which is the journey that I took. Unfortunately, it's been very challenging as well, because it's not just a walk in the park. It's very challenging because what you'll discover is you're here to learn. Earth is like a school, and you're here to learn. You're here to do much more than just discover yourself, but you are here to primarily discover who you are and where you're going, because you have to graduate from here. You're not here forever. As many of you know, I believe, that we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And so, that being said, dark forces do a good job of distracting us from discovering just that, discovering our true selves, connecting with our higher self, which is that connection with God the Father. And so, I have so much experience in that realm, and not to lecture that part of it, but more excited that I can share that aspect of my life. Like I said, though, I mentioned earlier, I've had faced a lot of challenges, distractions that have impeded my ability to make or start this podcast. It's, and I'll let you know more about my status on the next video. Unfortunately, I bought some portable mics, one of those portable mics, but I didn't bother to go through it or study it or charge it like it's supposed to have it ready. So who knows how my voice sounds in this recording, but I'm gonna ask you to be patient with me. Take your time, write your questions, and we'll see where the journey takes us. Because part of the reason I've taken so long is because I've been preparing. I've sought to prepare to do this podcast in the best way possible. Thrilled with video and whatnot is to do the editing and the editing, right? Editing the music background, but again, just time kicked my ass, and it's been a bit challenging. And so I'm here now. I'm getting started. I should have started with the date, right? Today is November 11th of 2025. And I'm happy to say that the name of the podcast, which I'm working on, It's called Awaken Divine Journey. And that's where I'm inviting you to do. To begin your spiritual journey. Because where I left off and I got distracted again, I'm saying so much. We unfortunately we get distracted, right, by life, the pleasures of life, the troubles of life. Our emotions get wrapped into it, our feelings, and so it's hard to focus. It's hard to concentrate. It's difficult to just work on yourself, right? Because we're so busy on a to-do schedule on a have-to-do schedule, that we don't have no time for our spiritual development, right? And honestly, that's why I created a system, a website. Actually, I had invested thousands of dollars in developing this website, which, I don't know, from one side, I could say it was sabotaged. And then I could say it was dark forces behind it all, influencing it. I can say a lot of things, speculations, but it's unfortunately that those who I paid to build this, who promised me that they would do this, build it successfully, unfortunately fell off and didn't fulfill. And so, when I did launch it, I launched it, the website, maybe about a year ago, a year and a half. And then to my surprise, a year later, I find out that it doesn't even work. It doesn't work. It's not supposed to. It doesn't function the way it's supposed to. And I became very angry. I'll be honest with you. I became very angry. Stressed. Because it's a wonderful system designed to help people, like I said, discover who they are and where they're going and get them on tracks to success. But, and it was supposed to allow me a means of supporting myself financially so I can be more available. You get me? Be more available to people. But here I am. And where's here? Well, at the moment I'm currently chilling at the park. But you'll learn more. You'll learn more about me. I have many stories to share about this journey I've embarked on that has taken me for a spin. And now I'm on another critical junction in my life, and this journey is like a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Only it seems like, while you're alive, it's never ending, right? You gotta learn how to navigate. But I think one of the most crucial tools that you have at your disposal is your faith. That's what makes this whole system work. That's what makes the whole system work. That's what makes or helps you connect the dots. And that's having faith. You must have faith in a greater being. Now, this video, this first recording will come out amateur. I'll get better with time, obviously, as we all should and do. We'll see though how things unfold for me. Like I said, I was working as an electrician. I am an electrician, right? But I unfortunately hit unfortunate times with this last company I was with, and well, there's a story to be told after that. But I have a great passion to deliver this spiritual lectures, these spiritual talks, to help individuals, because I feel that it's one thing that's missing. And one way to test yourself is observe yourself in seeing how quick you react to things or actions from others that trigger this need for you to get upset and react accordingly. So not only that, but carry this energy with you all day, maybe even days, and to even remind yourself weekly of the negative things that occur to you that, again, distract you and rebuild that negative charge within you. So this will be an interesting series. This podcast, Awaken Divine Journey. Unfortunately, it's not starting off. It's not launching the way I had hoped. The way I had prepared. Unfortunately, it is not, and it saddens me. Honestly, it saddens me a lot that it's not. But life is what it is. The challenges are what the challenges are. I have faith in God, and I don't know. I want to say that I'm joyful about that, and I am. But at the same time, the challenges just break me. Also, I don't hate, but the challenges I've had to face have broken me time and time again. I keep going. I keep moving forward. I don't let them bother me. But again, it's like, how much do you take? How much do you take? And I'll close with this. One of the things that God pointed out to me, and I'll say like metaphorically, He tagged a section in the Bible for me. I don't have to tell you about that story eventually. But he tagged the section of Job. The section on Job. And so I read it. And when I read it, it meant a lot. I've read it before, don't get me wrong. I've read the Bible before. People have always said you can't read it like a book. I wanted to see why. And I kind of understood why. But I think a lot of information is being left out as far as translation goes. Translation-wise, a lot is being left out. That's why a lot of people don't know how to use the Bible or don't care to. One of the biggest reasons that I didn't care for the Bible at first is the knowing of the colonial times, the days of conquest, Spanish conquest that conquered Mexico and forced everyone to accept the Bible, or else they were murdered, and the murdered stories are horrible. The recordings of how people were murdered, the natives of Mexico, it's horrendous, man, and it really shatters your idea of taking the Bible serious. But it took me a time, it took me a minute, and eventually I wound up reading it. And I got my understanding, why it couldn't be read like a book. But, later on it had a different, more deeper meaning for me. But for all of you who don't know, I would point out to go ahead and dive deep into the Bible and read, at least for now, if you haven't, or for a refresher, just read the section on Job. Because I'm going to touch back on that section. And again, I'm not a great linguistics when it comes to biblical scripture, but I'll do my best to express myself, express my thoughts, and express what I'm translating. But it'll get interesting, you'll see how it relates to me. It'll get very interesting. So anyhow, I love you guys. Appreciate you taking the time to listen. This is Reverend Farias. It's not my only name. I have other names. But for the sake of starting off this podcast, the importance of it is just now or never. You can refer me as Reverend Farias. I have so much in store for you guys. So much. Like I said, I built a system. I built a system for you to benefit from. Unfortunately, the website was sabotaged in a sense, and hopefully I'll be able to restart it one day. But for now, it's disabled. I don't know. Maybe I need funds more. I don't know. I have to hire a new company, and I'm very saddened. I'm saddened. But it is what it is. You got to deal with it. As a man, you can't just cry. That's the unfortunate thing about being a man. You can't just sit there and dwell on problems. You have to move forward and say F it. But as your Reverend Farias, Reverend of Metaphysics, I thank you for tuning in to the first of many. I send it with much love to you and yours, and your journey, your awakening, and your connection with your higher self, and to building a stronger connection with God through faith. God the Father, the divine source. And that being said, I let you go. Have a great day.